Back now with the topic that could stir up a debate for our Channel 3 Mom Squad.
Yeah, it has to do with sleepovers. Take a look.
Here's a hot take. I don't let my kids go to sleepovers. I don't believe in them. And this came up on the show today, but it's the truth. My daughter's a teenager. My little one is 5 years old. Never going to happen. When I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to go to sleepovers either. I just think it's weird. Unless it's like your family or people you know really well, you're just going to let your kid go sleep at somebody's house that they know from school. I'm not for it, but I've had a lot of people say that it's a rite of passage. What do you do? At what age do you let your kids start sleeping over? And do you have any parameters around it?
Anna Zapp, host of the nationally syndicated The Anna and Raven Show, is here to chat more about this. Well, you are very opinionated about this topic. What happened as a kid?
So I come from an Italian family, so we were never allowed to sleep out unless it was our grandparents'
Was it
house.
a cultural thing?
It was a cultural thing. My parents didn't understand it. Why you got to sleep at somebody else's house? Is something wrong with your bed? You know? And that's how I grew up. And I remember it destroyed me as a child. All my friends slept out. I felt left out. I would get picked up at 9:30 every time there was a sleepover, and I felt like a big loser.
Feel bad.
But now as a mom, I'm like, they were right. Like, why do you got to sleep at somebody else's house? I mean, if they want to go sleep at, their grandparents' house, my mom and dad's house, sure, they could take them for like 6 years. Go ahead, take them. But when it comes to others, no, I want you in your bed at night.
Even a best friend? Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so I commented on this thread because I did think it was a rite of passage. I grew up, I do have 3 half-brothers, but they're like a generation above me. So I grew up as an only child. Yeah. So I don't think as a kid, like in high school, it was almost every weekend I either slept at my best friend's house or they slept at my house. Like Dana and Brooke, we were like inseparable. We always be like, whose house are we sleeping at this Saturday? We all wanted to be together.
Yeah, it was so the opposite for me. And my kids have become so used to it at this point that they don't even ask.
They don't ask.
They get it. They just say it.
But you think your 5-year-old is too young to understand what's going to happen?
Well, it's really funny because I think that I call myself the president of the anti-sleepover mom club.
Yes, okay.
And I think that this is kind of a new trend because when I posted this, I thought there was going to be a lot of backlash.
A lot of backlash.
And people being like, what are you talking about? It's a rite of passage. But a lot of parents agreed with me. And my little one, Dakota, my 5-year-old, recently was invited to a sleep under.
So, yeah, that's a thing. When they were little, I like to sleep under. You just get in your pajamas and you go home late.
Yeah, so you get picked up at 9:30. I felt like saying when I was a loser in high school and I had to get picked up at 9:30, I didn't know that one day it would be trendy and have a name and we would get invited to sleep under birthday parties.
Right, I've never heard of this.
But did you know what the other thing the New York Times said? New York Times just did a whole article about this recently too. And it's basically like the end of the sleepover. And they said parents are also asking if they're going to sleepovers if they can go too. And all I thought was, how do you get your teenager to quiet and like never ask you again? Say you can go to that sleepover if mommy can come too and hang out.
Oh my God!
Can you imagine?
And sleep over?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I do agree. I wouldn't want my child just sleeping at like if I don't know anything about the house or this or that.
Right.
And for my kids, I'd say it was around 7 or 8 that they got really got invited to a sleepover birthday party, and they were like nervous to go for the first time. And sometimes at reverse, we had a sleepover, and I'd have to like call the mom and say, she really wants to come home, or that kind of thing. So I guess I would have to know and be safe. But like to me, it definitely was a rite of passage.
But
I hate them because they're ruined the next day.
Well, they're terrible. So
they're all bad. They don't sleep.
Yeah, so there's the obvious things like the security issues when you don't know the other parents well, obviously, all that. But they're miserable the next day because they didn't sleep at all the night before. You're miserable because you were up all night worrying. If they're at your house, like what are they doing downstairs at 3 o'clock in the morning baking a cake? It just seems to disrupt the entire kind of flow of we need to sleep and get a good night's sleep.
See, when I was growing up, I wore braces on my feet to bed every night. So when I had a sleepover, I was allowed to not wear my braces, which was a big treat for me. So I would always, like, whenever I had a sleepover, they were like, okay, you don't have to wear your braces to bed tonight. And I was like, this is so cool. I got a friend and I had no braces, which was awesome.
Aww. That's a sad story.
Yes. But his feet are okay.
But I'm okay now.
All right, good. All right, last thing. Are people allowed to sleep at your house?
They are, but I don't like it.
Okay. Can I come? No, just kidding.
If you want to come sleep over, we'll have a grown-up sleepover.
You can catch the Anna and Raven Show on Star 99.9 or visit AnnaandRaven.com. You can also follow Anna to see more of her hilarious videos on Instagram at Anna Zapp On Air. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And if you're not already a member of our Channel 3 Mom Squad, come join us. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now or search Channel 3 Mom Squad on Facebook. You will find us there. We will welcome you.